Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining on this Friday. Good to see you all. Bunch of names that I recognize. Please mute yourselves so that any background noise or sounds don't happen to interfere with what we are busy with. We have a Q&A section. Any questions that you have that you would like to ask, please ask them in the Q&A section. If there's just any comments or catch-ups you want to do, you're welcome to use the chat section, but Q&A is reserved for the Q&A section. I've posted a little post, just said, hello, ask questions here. So the other comment, Dewold said, are we all awake? Yes, we are. Thank you, Dewold. The idea is that Danny will do the presentation. Any questions, please ask them over here in the Q&A section, and the rest of us will attempt to answer the questions. And this is to not interrupt Danny's flow. Then at the end, we will have an open mic Q&A. We will answer any questions that you have that we couldn't answer in the Q&A section. So thank you for that. Also, this session is being recorded so that we can tidy it up and post it onto our YouTube channel later, this H3C Africa YouTube channel. So thank you very much. And Danny, take it away. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Morning, everyone, and thank you for attending. So CloudNet SD-WAN, CloudNet update. So as all of you hopefully already know, CloudNet's probably one of H3C's biggest advantages in the campus environment. But there's a lot we can do with CloudNet. There's a lot more we can do with CloudNet. And the trend that keeps coming up as well, customers and partners know about CloudNet. Not everybody knows the full extent of what CloudNet can do, all the ins and outs. And I just thought this would be a really good opportunity to recap CloudNet, reintroduce CloudNet for anybody that doesn't know the extent of what CloudNet can do, give a high-level overview of CloudNet and its features, a little bit of tech updates and roadmap of what's come and what's coming with CloudNet, and some new features and releases. And then if we have time afterwards, we can actually go into CloudNet if need be, if anyone has more specific questions or just to get a fit and a feel of it. Many of you have already sat through this presentation I'm going to do now. And the idea behind this presentation is to, one, recap all of CloudNet's features, but also I give a practical example of the whole holistic approach to CloudNet and how you can help give your customer an actual solution and not just a very basic NMS platform. Cool. So when we look at CloudNet, we can break CloudNet up into four main parts. So when we look at it, we can look at our startup deployment section, and we'll go into each of these sections one by one. When we talk about startup deployment, we talk about, for example, engineering survey. So you're doing a Wi-Fi deployment for your customer, and you need some heat mapping done. So we all know Echo House surveys and surveys like that are quite expensive, or if you're using services from somebody else, it's quite an expensive exercise. Or just going in blindly. Many people don't know that CloudNet has the built-in functionality to actually do desktop surveys. When we talk about network planning such as our sites, our organizations, and the flow of our actual configuration. We've got our startup deployment, so that's stuff like our zero-touch deployment, auto configuration templates, as well as bulk template pushing. Yep, so that's our main startup deployment section, as well as acceptance checking. Then we've got our daily O&M, our more traditional O&M. So when we talk about NMS and the traditional feel of NMS, that's your normal reporting, your monitoring, your link utilizations, up-down statuses and alerts, your traditional NMS like you'd get in any normal traditional NMS system, and additional features such as cloud authentication, and remote maintenance, which many people don't know is a great feature of CloudNet, that we can remotely CLI or gain GUI access onto our devices, essentially using CloudNet as a secure jump host. Then we've got our smart O&M, our intelligent O&M section. And this is where, to me personally, CloudNet really, really shines. It gives us that ability to really dive into the environment in real time, see what's going on. We talk about seeing flow of traffic, the flow of users connecting onto the Wi-Fi, authentication issues. It's got built-in root cause analysis and functionality like that, which is really amazing in terms of supporting your customers post-deployment. as well as the optimization features built into it. I don't know how many of you play on CloudNet and how regularly you log in and go to the smart O&M section, but you'll see it's almost monthly new features are being added. And most of them AI-driven features, so AI optimization and self-healing functionality, and then as well as the SD-WAN section built into CloudNet. And the beauty about the CloudNet SD-WAN is that it's not just some light SD-WAN, light basic SD-WAN functionality, but it's actually true SD-WAN. And the beauty about CloudNet SD-WAN, it gives you the ability to have a completely controllerless or physical controllerless hubless SD-WAN deployment, fully cloud enabled. So just some information about CloudNet, and I'm going to speak as though I'm talking to a customer or somebody who doesn't know H3C or doesn't know CloudNet, and just to give them a little bit of information, just to give them that reassurance of what CloudNet is and more about who H3C is. So many people don't know CloudNet's actually hosted the CloudNet that we log into in Singapore. It's hosted in Microsoft Azure. And the reason we do that, and we like to mention that, is data sovereignty. Even though no data goes into CloudNet and actually flows over CloudNet, especially here in South Africa, it's a big topic. It always comes up, especially in public sector. People hear the word cloud and they get very scared, they get very nervous, and all kinds of different reasons to it. So I always like to mention that CloudNet's actually fully hosted in Microsoft Azure with all the compliance that comes with it, obviously fully redundant and backed up. That's the main data center that we connect into for CloudNet, as well as there's a data center in Spain, and then there's a data center in the east. Sorry, can someone mute themselves there?
Sorry, who's not muted? Please, can you mute yourself?
Mark, you mind just handing that?
Yeah, I'm going to figure that
Thanks. So I always like to mention that also there's uncertainty. Guys go, it's a Chinese brand. Does that mean that everything I'm doing goes into China? What about the latency crossing the ocean and all that? Just like to give some information on there. Just some little fun facts there. CloudNet is massive. If you look at those numbers, these numbers are about 1.5 years old. I don't have updated slides. I wish I do. I looked if there was anything released, but the scale of CloudNet is absolutely massive. Another big question that always comes up is, how big can I scale up CloudNet? How many sites can I add? How many devices can I add? The simple answer is unlimited, especially in the context of South Africa. It's a forever growing environment. So as the environment grows and as the back-end resource requirement expands, we just simply expand it in the background. So for especially South African use case, it's quite literally unlimited. One of the very important things about CloudNet is really well geared to be used as an MSP platform. An MSP platform meaning that you as the partner can set up CloudNet account, the MSP account, and manage both your own instances of CloudNet or sites as well as your customers. And because of the hierarchical account permission and the granularity around it, it means that you can really set up nice structures to both your requirements and your customers' requirements. The number of trees is almost endless of how you can build out that organizational structure, and then based on that structure, you can give account permission. What's also nice about the MSP functionality is that you as the partner don't always have to own the account. If you've got a customer who has a pre-existing CloudNet account, or they physically own the equipment or maintain the equipment and they just want you to be someone that can help, someone to call home, or it's a new customer to you, they can authorize you as the MSP to completely control that CloudNet account with full authority on it, which is really, really nice. But when it comes to users within an organization, you can create sub accounts and give them role-based access depending on what your customer needs. When it comes to zero-touch deployment, this is again one of the areas that CloudNet really shines. There's multiple ways to onboard devices onto CloudNet. So the quickest way, we just want to add one device here or there, simply go to CloudNet, click add device, and put in the device's serial number. What's really nice is all H3C equipment comes shipped with a QR code on it. And with that QR code, we have an Android and an iOS app that you can use to also scan and onboard devices. It means it's really, really quick, really, really easy. And that ties in really nicely with the hierarchical user-based access. Practical examples of this is an engineer can have an account set up on his phone for CloudNet. He can go to a site and without having to do any pre-configuration, simply scan the QR code, plug the device onto the network. As long as that device can get an IP address from DHCP, DNS, and internet access, it will go to the cloud and pull the configuration, which we'll talk about in the next slide. Just to mention on that, the QR code also allows for very nice and easy device replacement. So part of the features and functionalities built into the app is one touch device replacement. So again, take out the phone, log into the relevant site, you scan the click device replacement, you scan the QR code of the faulty device, scan the QR code of the new device, and CloudNet does absolutely everything for you. Again, the practical examples of how this can really benefit you and your customers is that you don't need heavily trained smart people going to every single site to do every single device replacement or anything of the sort. You can quite literally ship a device to site and have anybody with a cell phone scan a QR code, plug the device onto the network, and it will pull its configs and do what it needs to do. When it comes to the templates and the auto configuration, there's three main ways that we can auto configure these devices. So one way is called auto deployment. So what auto deployment does is when a device comes onto CloudNet, it will come onto CloudNet and then it will be added to a site. Now you can add auto deployment settings onto that site. It needs to meet certain requirements, so that device gets added to that specific site. That specific site has auto deployment set, and the device you're adding matches an auto deployment template that's already on that site. And that what that in essence does is it takes that device and it will put at that base set of configurations down for you. Really nice practical example of that is you look at, for example, an ISP and they're putting routers down as CPE devices at the customer. You don't have to pre-configure each and every device before you send it to site. You can have a predetermined template that you use. You create an auto provision, you create a provisioning site on template, or I mean on CloudNet, a provisioning branch. The engineer gets to site, or you ship a device straight to site. You plug it onto the network, it gets into that site, auto deployment kicks in, it puts those base configurations onto that device, and then from there you can move it to the correct branch and configure it accordingly. The other way we can use templates is through both a GUI or CLI based template that is a push template. So you can build this template that you push to devices as and when you need. You want to change a username and password, an SSID, a password on your Wi-Fi, absolutely anything you can do on the GUI of a device or via the CLI of the device, you can do as a bulk configuration template. And the idea behind this template is you manually push it to your site. This is, again, awesome for bulk rollouts, especially you've got lots of switches and it's all using the same base configs, same SNMP information, usernames and passwords. You can really, really use this nicely to push to all sites. And again, if there's anything you need to change very, very quickly on hundreds or thousands of devices, it's one click. Just a little bit more about the cloud-based engineering survey. So again, it's built into CloudNet and it's 100% free. You upload your floor plans, your blueprint, whatever you have. You draw in your obstacles, your walls, your windows, anything that's relevant into that environment, and you actually calibrate the scale of the site into CloudNet. From there, all of our APs are already built into CloudNet, so you can purely pull the AP model and plot it there into the cloud engineering tool. If the AP isn't there or it's a third-party AP and you want to take advantage of the tool, you can manually create an AP and add in its DB information, radios, how many radios it has, how many MIMOs, and so on and so forth. And then from there, you can simulate a result. What's really nice about this is you can set the acceptance levels of what your base RSSI value needs to be. So if you're in an environment where you really, really need highly reliable Wi-Fi and you can put extra APs in and maybe lower their output but have that resiliency, or you need to make sure that it's mission critical, that if an AP goes down, you have 0 dead spots and you need to have overlap, you can then plot those APs, do an auto simulation, and that auto simulation not only calculates the coverage of those APs, but it can also simulate the power requirements of those APs. So which radios need to be moved power down so that you're not overpowering the air, and it also calculates real world channel examples of channel mapping. What's nice about CloudNet is this is done automatically for you with the one key optimization, but here you can simulate those results. What's also really nice about the cloud-based engineering survey is when you're done with it, there's a report button that you can push, which generates a really nice output for you. You can then take that output, put information in, you can name the APs and the rooms and the floors, and it's got some nice built-in write-ups. It's, let's say, 90% ready to send to your customer. Really, really nice feature. Cool. Then how H3C likes to look at CloudNet is, while it's a really, really nice NMS platform and a pre-authentication or pre-planning platform and a post-deployment O&M platform, we like to look at CloudNet as a way to give you a industry solution towards a customer requirement. So not just to look at CloudNet isolated as, like I said, just an NMS platform, but give you the ability to offer your customer an end solution. So we like to break CloudNet into different, or H3C in general, into different industry solutions, and then we take CloudNet to use CloudNet to then go offer you those different use cases. So examples of that is if you need to do Wi-Fi marketing or campaigning, built into CloudNet is actually a captive portal engine. So you create your wireless SSID, you create a captive portal on CloudNet, and then you can point those users to that captive portal. And going with that conversation of offering full solutions to your customer, I've included an example here in the hotel space. So if you look at the architecture of CloudNet, we have the traditional base touching points of how you actually get onto your network. So if it's a Wi-Fi access, if it's physically plugging into the network via a switch or something, it's your traditional connectivity getting onto the environment. Then you have CloudNet itself, our cloud platform. So it's all the stuff we've just spoken about, the O&M, the pre-configuration and all. But then we have the integration. And this is where we really like to shine as a vendor, as H3C. We know we can't do everything. We know we can't be amazing at everything. And we definitely not in all businesses and all industries. The hotel business is the hotel business. There's other people that manage the booking system and the hotel actual maintenance and hotel management systems. We like to leverage CloudNet to offer the customer a full application or full solution leveraging CloudNet. And because of that, we integrate with third parties very, very nicely. So if it's through a direct integration or through open APIs or customization, we know that we can't do everything. So we'd rather leverage those that are good at what they do to deliver that hotel application. Real world examples of that: you arrive at a hotel, you want to now check in. There's no need for your customer to go to wait in a queue and get to the check-in counter and give them your ID and manually check in to the hotel. We've already, and this is real world, integrated to hotels and their booking management systems, that you walk into the hotel, you connect to the Wi-Fi, and a pop-up comes, would you like to check in? You check in, you may have to take a selfie or upload your ID or do, if you've already pre-authenticated or pre-registered at the hotel and you're a returning visitor, you might have to scan your fingerprint on your phone. These are all things that are already integrated and done. From there, all the other functionalities can come in, such as in smart hotels, you check in, it tells you you've already been pre-checked into room 202. You don't have to go get a key card to go to your room. Everything's done with NFC. The token gets sent to your phone and you can open your room and access the elevator and everything directly off your phone. And then it goes further. You can book your room service and decide what you want for supper and change the temperature of your room through the integrated aircon management system, all these kind of things that come with giving your end customer smart applications. And the idea behind this isn't just in the hotel space. This is just a nice example. We can do this across all industries. And as CloudNet is getting more advanced and as it's getting more developed, we're adding more and more functionalities like this in the general CloudNet. So if it's not a custom development, it'll become part of the key functionality. And anyone who's already been playing on CloudNet under services will see that the hotel section's already up and running and has been for a while now. Just in terms of the captive portal, so yes, we can redirect to any third party. Should your customer wants to use something like a Linkify or Bionic or any of those, we can do it. But built into CloudNet is our own free captive portal or authentication platform. Is it as powerful as a Linkify or one of the others? No. Again, that's not the industry we play in, but it's for most requirements, it's really, really great. There's many different authentication methods. Not all of them are listed here, but here's quite a few, the nice relevant ones. We can do, as you can see, social media. We can do fixed account, SMS, email, vouchers. We can also do authenticate to register. So what that means is the person registering has to give you information in order to be registered. And then from there, we can also do our time-based or bandwidth-based access. The captive portal is fully customizable, so you can customize your landing page, your error pages, and all of that. And we can push things like Wi-Fi marketing campaigns and all of that through it. In terms of the independent service vendors, we've already integrated with many. We're always very, very happy to integrate with others. So if you or your customers have other ISVs or other companies that they're already working with and they want to integrate with CloudNet, be it on the front end or the back end, just let us know and we'll help facilitate that process. And then just as an example, that's what the room level management looks like on CloudNet. So the idea behind this room management is that you're in a hotel, it's 2 a.m, you don't have an IT person there, you've just got somebody behind the front desk, and there's suddenly an issue on the Wi-Fi. Someone's complaining from a room. Built into CloudNet is this room level view. You see each room, you see both the user experience on the room as well as the device experience on the room. And there's certain things that can happen. So in this example over here, you can immediately reboot the AP. Sometimes, switch it off and on again. Let's see what happens. But you can also report a fault. And the idea behind reporting the fault is that it will kick off a workflow. So does it log a call with RT? Does it call you guys as the partner to say, we've got an issue, send somebody out? It's all these kind of things we can offer to give you a full solution for your customer. Then just in terms of CloudNet and the SD-WAN part of CloudNet, so just to mention, as I've said in the beginning, CloudNet is, we always say 100% free. I should probably change it and say it's 99% free. So all the features and functions that I've just spoken about on CloudNet are 100% free. Your Wi-Fi management, all the survey, auto deployment, absolutely everything is free except for CloudNet SD-WAN. So the CloudNet SD-WAN, as I mentioned, is not SD-WAN Lite. It's not just some nice little added feature on CloudNet, but it's a full-blown SD-WAN controller. BGP configs, absolutely everything, full-blown SD-WAN. It's a subscription-based license, purchased yearly, and you license based on your requirements. It's a consumption-based license. You got 5 routers, you want to do SD-WAN with 5 routers, you need 5 licenses for those routers, and the licenses are scaled depending on the type of device. There's a different license for it. What's really, really nice and exciting from an H3C point of view is we have just now, this year, announced that our firewalls are finally supported on CloudNet SD-WAN. So what that means for you and your customers is that we can do secure SD-WAN through CloudNet, being completely head-endless and controllerless. Just to mention, all H3C devices, we don't have specific SD-WAN enabled appliances, like some of the other vendors do, all of our routers and firewalls form part of our SD-WAN solution. And then what's also really exciting about having the firewalls now supported on CloudNet is we've also introduced a remote, almost call it SOC functionality, which again is another license. So what that gives you the ability to do, actually, I'll show you a slide on that in a moment's time. And then just a bit of a roadmap on the H3C SD-WAN roadmap in general. I know this is a CloudNet discussion, but they tie in together, they work hand in hand. So we're about to launch AD-WAN 7.0, and part of that is the SD-WAN enhancements on CloudNet. So as I mentioned, the firewalls now being supported on CloudNet with the full SD-WAN functionality, as well as the SIEM functionality. And then you'll see the roadmap over there. We're going to start introducing the AI SD-WAN optimization and the SAS optimization, and you'll see hopefully sooner than 2028, but ZTNA as well. Oh, apologies, I seem to be missing a slide. I don't know, I didn't seem to have copied over. But then just to mention, also part of the new upgrade to CloudNet is the CloudNet SOC. So the idea behind that is not only will you be able to manage your firewalls from CloudNet, so policy management and all of that, you'll also be pushing logs and information to CloudNet with built-in SOC and SIEM and all of that. It is new, it is still coming, but as soon as it's officially launched and we can start demoing it, we'll definitely do so. Yeah. From there, I'm not sure if there's any questions. That's the CloudNet quick, very high level overview and technology update and roadmap. And then from here, if there's no questions, I can also go into CloudNet and we can actually click through CloudNet, anyone who hasn't done it, and show you some of the stuff actually on the CloudNet platform itself.
Thanks, Danny. Let's proceed with that. Tom.
Cool. Is it resharing? Can you see my screen again?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, so very, very quick and very, very high level, just to give anybody who doesn't have CloudNet experience the whole click around feel of CloudNet. So the first thing to mention is I've set up this account. It's not a very fancy account, apologies, but I've set up this account as an MSP account already. So this one I'm logging into is acting as an MSP. So if we just go back to that screen over here. You'll see that I log in here in tenant view. So again, as a partner, especially as an MSP, this is a really nice, quick, easy way to see what's going on. Here's your tenants, ACs up, down, cloud APs, so on and so forth. And from here, I can very quickly hop around and do what I need to do on my tenant's network. Quite literally one click, wait for it to load, and this is just a little site running, for example, my home Wi-Fi. As you see, it looks exactly the same, full features and functionality logging into that tenant to go and do whatever you need to do. What's nice about it is one click up here, change account. From here, I can jump into any other tenant I have there, or one click straight back to the MSP account and I can do what I need to do. Cool. And then you can either auto accept tenant requests or you can approve them one by one. So from a basic dashboard view, this gives you an overview of any sites you've added on. Again, very quick and easy. You can jump in to monitor those sites, or you can go straight to the smart O&M from a very quick, easy click. If you click onto a specific site, this is a real site. This is my in-laws' house. I don't want to break anything. They'll kill me. But a quick overview of the site. You can see any alarms, any issues. You see firmware updates that are ready to happen on that site, and a basic topology of the site. We can also go down to device view. So from our device view, you can start doing granular things to configure your devices. So one click gives you very quick information about the site, uptimes, port statuses, stuff like that. And if you click detail, you can go into a deep dive view of that device. Really quick, very easy, very nice to jump around. From here, we can also do our local management or our CLI management. So this is all about that remote management, simplifying your after sales support of these customers' site. So one click to take you to the GUI. So you can actually log into the GUI of the device remotely, and then also a CLI jump in. So you can secure SSH to that device directly. A lot of guys love to use this as a nice, easy jump host. Quite literally takes you onto the console of the device. Just that deep dive into the device. I'm not sure why there's no information coming up. That's embarrassing on a demo, but you get the idea. And then from the organizational point of view, so this is where that granularity comes in. So I can create any number of branches I want. Within that branch, I can now create another sub branch, and within that sub branch, I can keep going and building more and more branches. The important thing to remember is this tree over here is purely to help you with your flow and your hierarchical user-based access, so you can determine who gets access to what branch or what site. Anything that's configured over here in a site is a unique set of configurations, a unique set of settings. It doesn't matter where that physical site is located, where that physical piece of hardware is located. Anything that sits under that site over here will take that same set of configurations. The example I like to give is one of the retail customers of H3C. They've got over 1,000 physical locations all over the country. They are running one site, and they have all those devices configured under that one site, because all those devices, it's all access points at that retail chain, and they have the same SSID settings, usernames, passwords, captive portal relocations, so they don't need to set up individual sites for each location. From here, we go into our settings page. So the auto deployment templates I spoke about, we can come here and set them up for our ACs, our switches, and our routers, and those bulk configuration templates. So just to go in and give an example of one, we can come in, you can see I use it a lot. We can add a template and give it a name. There's settings examples that you can use, but what I personally like to use is I like to use the CLI option, and that means that I can configure absolutely anything I want. Anything you can do on the CLI of the device, you can create it as a template. You quite literally have to follow the same pattern as though you're logged onto the device. So in this example, system view, local user dash admin, admin class manage, whatever, you get the point. And I want to change the password. I quite literally do it as though you create this template, you save this template, and then when it comes time to apply the template, you manually push it to where you need to do. As you can see, I do captive portal deployments, real world, Linkify deployments, password changes. Yeah, let me give you an example of the password. Oh no, you'll see my password. Let me not do that. So there you can now go do all your bulk configurations where you push. It's probably the feature I use the most on CloudNet. When it comes to settings, you will only see settings here for devices that device types you already have added to CloudNet. So in this CloudNet account, I don't have any routers added, so I don't have options for routers. I don't have any switches added. I don't have options for switches. But from here, you come in and you can do all your settings as you'd expect. Wi-Fi settings, switch settings, anything you need. We've got the maintenance area. So from here, you can do your remote access. So you don't have to click on the device list and do it. You can do it from here. You can push your upgrades. So your upgrades here, if there's a vulnerability and a critical upgrade, as you log into CloudNet, it will warn you about it. Otherwise, here you can either set auto updates or you can manually push updates. You can update immediately. You can schedule updates. You can also push an update and tell the device to only update on next restart. Really gives you a lot of options over there. We spoke about the CLI helper and the config compare, which is a really, really cool feature. So a config compare allows you to do it. It allows you to pull either running config, backed up config, or a template locally off a device and compare it to another. So if you're doing a lot of deployments of the same device and one's giving you an issue or you need to do compliance checking, it's a really nice feature you have here. on the left and on the right, it shows you anything that's different between the other. Here we're seeing hashed information is different. You would expect that in names, but the base config of the device is exactly the same. There's also the maintenance section. You can do schedule reboots and schedule config saves. I like this in a switching environment where there might be engineers on the ground that are making changes just to make sure that you save the latest copy of the config. You can do that from there. There's also built-in health checks to check the health of the device, as well as tools to do things like pinging and trace routes and capture diagnostic information directly from CloudNet as well. And then when it comes to device replacement, the one-click device replacement, as I mentioned. Click the old device, put in the serial number of the new device, and off you go. Excuse me one sec. Then we move into the smart O&M section. So the smart O&M section for me is absolutely excellent. The information you can get out of this is phenomenal. And again, I mentioned the fact that it's a free platform and it gives it to you from a free platform. Currently now, Smart O&M only supports the Wi-Fi side of the business. There's no switch integration yet. Hopefully it's going to be launching very soon. They told us Q1, Q2 of this year, it should be released. So we're obviously very excited for that and hope it comes as soon as possible. From here, you can get a direct overview. You can create an area. So this is just the default area set up, but you can create an area, plot your APs over there and get an overview of that area. As well as the new Wi-Fi 7 dashboard. Just want to quickly see. Sorry, they've moved the things around a bit, I see. This environment changes all the time. In the interest of time, I just want to skip straight over to probably my favorite part of CloudNet's Smart O&M is the issue analysis area. So why I love the issue analysis area is it doesn't just tell you you have an issue. It doesn't just tell you there's an alarm and that's it and do what you do with it. It actually gives you the ability to see what type of issue it is. You can then dive into it more granular, see exactly what's going on here, how channel usage. And from here, you can click in and get information about that issue. So you can see what clients does the issue affect, which APs does the issue affect, root cause analysis. You can actually come in and see exactly what's going on. So it's not just that there's an issue, but the root cause of the issue. If possible, it even gives you, in this case, optimization measures or root cause analysis of what's causing the issue. And sometimes it even gives you suggested remediation steps on how to fix the issue. Really, really awesome section to come in as your first step to fixing customer issues. We also have diagnostic tools built into here, which is really great. Then we have our optimization section. So you can do either manual optimization. So this is a one-key optimize of the Wi-Fi environment. So what it does is it scans the Wi-Fi environment in real time, seeing what's going on. So it looks at the other APs, it looks at the clients, it looks at noise scans the Wi-Fi environment in real time. And then it deploys an optimized configuration to those APs again in real time. So if it means it needs to change the power outputs of those APs, channels of those APs, it does what it needs to do to optimize that network. And again, it's doing it in real time, seeing what's going on. The new features being built in, you'll see here it's under beta, is that this will start happening dynamically. So you'll set it, you'll tell it can happen, but dynamically CloudNet will look at the environment and optimize it without you needing to ask CloudNet to do it. The SD-WAN, won't go into this now, it's very in-depth, but as I said, it is proper SD-WAN. It's not just a lightweight SD-WAN platform, but a true SD-WAN platform. And then the services section. So from here, you can go to the cloud engineering survey. Might as well click and show you. So you can click here, go to your cloud engineering survey. Again, a really, really great tool. There is a guide on it, but if you do need any assistance, we can maybe do another session on that, just a bit of a deeper dive into the cloud engineering tool. And then probably the other one you'll use the most would be the authentication for the captive portals. Again, might need a little bit of playing around the first time to get the feel of how it works, but once you understand it, it's a really, really great platform. And then just one more thing to mention that a lot of people don't know is if you come up here to manuals, you'll see we have support matrix, we have a new feature. So every time we release new features, you should get a pop-up every time you log into CloudNet. But if you ignored it the first time or you want to reference back to it, you can come here and click there. But also if you go to manuals, there's a very nice manual section. Always being updated, always being enhanced. Anyone who uses CloudNet a lot will see that this whole layout is brand new. They've updated it a couple of weeks ago. But here again, it'll give you nice manuals and guides into pretty much everything I've just discussed over here. You'll see nice pictures and everything on what you need to do. There are also documentation. There's also documentation at h3c.com. If you go to the technical support section, go to CloudNet, and you'll see a lot of this is repeated there as well. And yeah, that's H3C CloudNet. I think we can move over to the Q&A section.
Any other question?
Yeah.
So when you go into CloudNet and you go to the O&M, smart O&M section, the times that are shown there, is that the time as per the time zone you're in, or is that the time as per the time zone that the CloudNet instance we're connecting to is in?
So it's as per the time zone of you connecting on. And the reason I say that is very bad habits. I see this from a lot of customers and partners, is when you actually log onto the devices and the sites, you'll see they don't update the time zone over here, both of, I'm guilty, both of the site and of the devices. So you'll see I haven't set the time zone for myself, but if you saw that smart O&M, it's giving me the time zone relative to me now. How that ties into the devices, same story. So it's pulls the information from the device and puts it relevant to my time zone here.
Okay, great. So we just need to make sure that that time zone part that you showed is actually put into the correct time zone, because the device could be in Beijing time and reporting that somebody connected at 2 o'clock in the morning South African time, which wouldn't make sense.
So yeah, it makes your logs skewed. So if you go into the log section and you look at the logs that CloudNet can pull for you, it skews it. But when you look at this representation here, it doesn't. You see it as your time zone. So it actually fixes. And again, I know that because I was troubleshooting an issue with a ISP. And they said, okay, at 10 o'clock we ran the speed test, blah, 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 blah. And the devices and the CloudNet time zones weren't set, but I still on CloudNet under Smart O&M saw that traffic at 10 o'clock.
Cool. Thank you very much. We've had a few questions in the question session, which I've answered. Okay. For example, if a device needs to be replaced, the device doesn't need to be online. Obviously, because if the device has failed, it wouldn't be online. So when you replace a faulty device, whether it's online or not, you replace the device and push the previous device config down.
Correct. So what that will do is it will, for example, set the name of the device, put it in the correct site. If you've done backups, so the Wi-Fi APs and stuff, you never need to back them up because all the configs push from the cloud. But if I had switches here, each switch has its own unique set of configs. Not every interface has the same VLANs and port types and so on and so forth. So if you've set up your backups, which I hope you are doing for switches, where is it? Am I blind? Whatever, you've set up your there you go, your backups for your switches, it'll automatically then push that latest config to that device. So it's very, very important, and it means that there's absolutely no manual intervention needed from you. Just scan the old, scan the new, and then it goes without saying the new device needs to be on CloudNet to then pull that information.
Yes. Yes. If a switch or router has a pre-existing config, when you add a device to CloudNet, there's two ways of doing that. You either back up the config, or if you push a pre-existing or a new config down, it will overwrite what's on that existing device.
Yeah, so from an AP point of view, an AP will always be overridden by CloudNet. You'll see at the top here, we have Cloud Manage AP Config Sync, because remember, this AP is being it's being completely managed by CloudNet. It won't change information like port level information or SNMP stuff like that. We're talking about stuff to deliver the Wi-Fi, so your service templates and that kind of stuff. You can turn this off, by the way. So if you want to only use CloudNet to do like monitoring of the APs, but you want to do static configurations on the APs, you can turn it off. When it comes to things like firewalls and switches, you sync the config between the two. Sorry, I don't have anything added to the site. I had cleaned it up because I'd returned all that kit. But anyway, so if I had a switch over here, you'd see you have an option to then sync it. I actually think I do have an example here. Quickly see, and then you can sync that information between the two, and it'll show you out of sync and all of that.
Okay, great. Thank you. It's open mic now, so if anyone has any other questions, you don't need to put in the Q&A. You can actually ask it outright or put up your hand or just drop us a DM if you're a little bit shy. Thank you, Danny. That was